بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن والاه وبعد. I welcome you all to the second class for this lesson, Ad-Dars Thani. Our topic for today, inshallah, is going to be Al-Mubtada ul-Ism al-Mawsul. Al-Mubtada ul-Ism al-Mawsul. Last week, we discussed Ism al-Mawsul wa Silatul Mawsul, the relative pronouns, and the sentence or expressions that are connected to the relative pronoun. We mentioned that when we see, or whenever we see the relative pronoun, that is, for instance, we have alladhi. This is the ismu mawsul, alladhi, as the case may be. We all know that this is used for singular masculine. So when we see this, we are automatically going to see next to it what we refer to as silatul mawsul. That is why we call this connector to the two relative pronoun. There is no how you are going to find ismu mawsul without silatul mawsul. They work side by side. So also we also mentioned the variations of this ismu mawsul. That is, we have alladhi being used for singular masculine, while we also talked about allati. Allati is used for singular feminine. So when we want to refer to female, so you have to know that there is going to be a little difference between what you attribute to the male and the female gender. So for the male gender, you attribute alladhi, while for the female gender, you attribute allati. We also talked about alladhani, alladhani. So this is used for dual masculine, just like alladhi. So but this time around, when you are talking about, when you are referring to two people, so it has to change from alladhi to alladhani. So which is going to be attributed to two or dual uh, people. When you have two people, you use a lady. And these two people must be masculine. They must be the male gender. So this is the third one we discussed. We also talked about allatani, just like we have it in alladani. We have allatani for dual feminine. So we use this for the female gender that are two. So when we refer to female gender, double, so we use allatani. We also talked about alladina, alladina. Alladina is used for plural masculine when you have a group of men. So you attribute to them alladina. So if you want to refer to a group of men, what are we going to use? Alladina. I hope we understand this. That is plural. So also when we want to talk about or attribute something to or the relative pronoun to a group of women, we use allati, allati. So we have this plural feminine. Alternatively to this, like we mentioned last week, that you can also use Allahi, Allahi, just like Allah used this in the Quran, Wallahi ya'isna min al-mahid, attributing this to the female gender group of women. So this was basically what we discussed last week. So we ask Allah to give us proper understanding of this. So today, inshallah, we are going to be looking at al-mubtada. The meaning of mubtada in Arabic is subject. We will all remember our English in the secondary school or primary school, as our case may be. We have the subject and the predicates. When we say subject, that is the doer of the action. Something is something that a sentence starts with. Whatever a sentence starts with, so it's going to be referred to as the subject in the sentence. So whatever that is fixed or that is attached with the subject, immediately after the subject is going to be the predicate. So like for instance, when we say the boy, the boy goes to Lagos. The boy or went to Lagos, as the case may be. So the boy there is going to be the subject. The boy is going to be the subject, while went to Lagos is going to be the predicate. So mubtada is basically referred to as the subject. Mubtada al-mubtada wal ism al-mawsul. When ism al-mawsul, that is alladhi, allati, alladhani, allatani, alladhina, allati, when they are being used in the position of what? Of the subject. So what we are talking about is that when all these six are ism al-mawsul, when they start a sentence, when any of them is used to start a sentence, so we can say they are what? They are al-mubtada. So that is what they are trying to talk about here for this title. I believe we understand. So this is going to be uh, explained much better in the following examples. So we have in the example, the first one, al-jumla, sentence. Alladhi, that is the relative pronoun we are talking about. Nama fi firash rasul. So this is the relative pronoun, which is alladhi, that we all know as ism mawsul. Nama fi firashihi, like we clearly pointed out last week, that anything that comes just immediately after the ism mawsul is going to be referred to as the silatul mawsul, that is the connector to the relative pronoun. So which means nama fi firash rasul is actually our relative, our silatul mawsul in this sentence here. So alladhi nama fi firash rasul alish. So this Ali here, like we also mentioned last week, is the what? Is the khobar. I hope we understand this. So this is going to be the khobar, just like we have it in English being called the predicate. So we have the subject and we have the predicate here. So this is going to be like a kind of ziyada, just an addition. It does not have any place in only that for you to have the relative pronoun, you must have the connector. That is the basic explanation to that. So here we have al-mubtada, the subject. Al-mubtada, the subject. So mubtada here in this sentence, alladhi nama fi firash rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is alladhi. Al-khabar, which is the predicate, is alish, the one that slept on the prophet's bed, on the messenger's bed, messenger of Allah's bed, is who? Is alish. So that alish in this case is going to be referred to as what? As our predicate, which is called al-khabar in Arabic. So al-khabar. Two things here now. We have the al-mubtada, al-mubtada'u. That is the subject. We also have al-khabar, the predicates. Now, alamatu raf'i al-khabar. So the sign that will make us know that this alish is raf'u, because we have what we call ar-raf'u. It's basically used for anything that ends with dhamma. A word, any word in Arabic that ends with dhamma, that is al-masjid. That dhamma you have there makes that masjid there a raf'u. But not only this dhamma will make us know a word is raf'u, or it's not only the one that represents a raf'u. We have alif, we have muthanna, we have as the case may be. But here, I mean, we would not like to extend our explanation to anything we have not come across in the past. So let's just limit it to the explanation we have in the book here. So here, there is a mistake here. So this is supposed to be ad-dhamma. Ad-dhamma. So we can change it. So because we have Ali, dhamma on this last letter, Aliyu. So Aliyu. So it's supposed to be ad-dhamma. So alamatu raf'i al-khabar. What is making us to know that this khabar is taken raf'u is the dhamma that is what? That is on the last letter, Aliyu. So the second one here we have allati sa'adat ar-rasula bimaliha khadija. So the allati here is the ism mawsul. Sa'adat ar-rasul bimaliha is going to be our silatul mawsul. So like we have it here, al-mubtada here, the subject in this sentence is allati. So which means the relative pronoun is being used in the subject position. So here our khabar, which is the predicate, is khadija. So what is making us to know this khadija is ar-raf'u, is the dhamma that is clear at the end of the word khadijatu. Khadijatu. Now The next here is Alladani anfaqa malahuma litajhiz jaysh al-muslimin. Alladani is the relative pronoun here, which is ismu mawsul, which is also going to be our al-mubtada, that is the subject. Anfaqa malahuma litajhiz al-muslimin. So anfaqa malahuma, from this to litajhiz jaysh al-muslimin, all these are going to be the silatul mawsul, connected to the relative pronoun, which is alladani. While alladani also here is going to be the mubtada, which is the subject. So then we have al-khabar, sahabiyan, that is also followed by jalilan. So sahabiyan here is a al-khabar. So what is making us to know this is uh, rafa is the alif. Alif that is representing dualization. So when you say what is making us to know this Sahabiyan is dual, is because of the alif. So this alif is also going to be representing the arrafun, like we have mentioned earlier. Also, to the next sentence here, we have allatani, allatani rabbat ar-rasul wa huwa tiflun imra'atani karimatan. Allatani is the mubtada. Imra'atan, we have rabbat ar-rasul wa huwa tiflun. So all these are the silatul mawsul. Imra'atan, imra'atan is going to be our khabar. What is making us to know this is marfu, is rafu, is the alif that is here, that is making it muthanna. Imra'atan li'annahu madha, al-alif li'annahu muthanna, because it is dual. So the alif is representing rafu in the state of dual, in the dual state, sorry. So alladina here is the mubtada, while the quwwad here is a khabar. So what is making us representing the rafu here is ad-dhamma. Allati tazawwajahunna ar-rasul. So this allati here is a mubtada. Ummahat is going to be the khabar, while what is making us to know this is rafu is the dhamma that is clear at the end of the word. Now here al-bahath is the explanation of everything on the table. Kullu jumlatin min al-jumal as-sabiqa. All the sentences we have on the table that we have come across, mabdu'atan bismi mawsul. If we look at them closely, we'll notice they all start with what? With ismu mawsul. The ismu mawsul, the first one started with alladhi, the second one allati, the third one alladani, the fourth one allatani, the fifth one alladina, the sixth one allati. So these are the six asma'u mawsula that was mentioned in the lesson. Fahuwa mubtada. All these six, they were all in the position of what? In the subject position. They are all mubtada. While ismul mawsul, as for all these ismul mawsul, la yataghayyar akhiruhu. If we notice, they don't change. They are the last letter here doesn't change. That is how it is. Even if it is changing from rafun to nasbu to jar, they don't change except in few cases, which we are going to mention inshallah subsequently. Fahuwa mabniyun. So anything that doesn't change with respect to something that comes before it in Arabic is going to be called mabniyun. Mabniyun, the lexical meaning of this is something that is fixed, that has a fixed ending. Any word that has a fixed ending, like already now. Already in no situation can change to already you or already or no, it cannot change. The same thing already, the same thing alredina, the same thing alati. Do we understand this? So anything that doesn't change with respect to different situations that it's come across, so we call this mabniyun. We can say fixative or whatever. ففي الجملة الأولى, in the first sentence, we have alladhi. Ismu mawsulun mubtada'un mabniyun, because it is the subject, so and it's not changing no matter the situation. Even if it is in the middle of the word, it's not going to change. If you like, put it to the back, it's not going to change. So that is why we call them what? Mabniyun. Ismu mawsulun mubtada'un mabniyun. So when we say alladhi now at the beginning of a sentence, what are we going to say? We are going to say ismu mawsulun mubtada'un mabniyun. Wal jumlatu allati wadahat ma'nahu silatul mawsul. And as for the sentence that explains the meaning, that is alladhi nama fi firashi rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is explaining the alladhi. So that nama fi firashi rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the silatul mawsul, explaining the ismu mawsul. We call them what? Connector to the ismu mawsul. So here that is what is being referred to. وضحت معناه صلة الموصول ثم جاء الخبر. After صلة الموصول, then come what? We have the خبر الذي نام في فراشه في فراش الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم علي, so which is بعدها. The Ali comes immediately after what? After the صلة الموصول. So that is the خبر. وفي الجملة الثانية, if we look at the second sentence, we find التي اسم موصول مبتدأ والجملة التي بعده صلة موصول. This we have explained, so we don't need to talk much on this. وخديجة خبر المبتدأ. So here we have وفي الجملة الثالثة, in the third sentence we have اللذان. اللذان, which is used for dual masculine, اسم موصول مبتدأ, is also اسم موصول مبتدأ in the subject position. والجملة التي بعده صلة الموصول, and the sentence that immediately comes after the اللذان is going to be referred to as silatul mawsul. Sahabiyan khabarul mubtada. We have explained this at the beginning of the dars. So what's going on? في الجملة الرابعة, and in the fourth sentence we have اللتان اسم موصول مبتدا والجملة التي بعده صلة الموصول امرتان خبر المبتدا. في الجملة الخامسة, excuse me, the pen is faulty, so that is why you can't find me navigating on the screen. So let me use the mouse. وفي الجملة الخامسة, and in the fifth sentence we have الذين. So the ism mawsul is mubtada also, because it's starting the sentence. والجملة التي بعده صلة الموصول. The sentence that comes immediately after it is صلة الموصول وقواد خبر المبتدا. So the قواد is خبر المبتدا. في الجملة السادسة التي اسم موصول مبتدا والجملة التي بعده صلة موصول وأمهات خبر المبتدا. So the أمهات here is a خبر للمبتدا. القاعدة, we have the grammatical rules. إذا وقع الاسم الموصول في أول الجملة, if we find relative pronoun, that is الذي التي, all these relative pronoun we have mentioned so far, فهو مبتدا. If you find it at the beginning of a sentence, والأسماء الموصولة مبنية. We should all know that all the relative pronouns have a fixed ending, so they don't change with respect to a situation. So they have the end of their words being the same, irrespective of the situation they come across. الجملة التي تأتي بعده صلة الموصول, and anything that comes after, immediately after the الأسماء الموصولة, they call them what? صلة الموصول. This is what we have explained before now. So وما يكمل معنى الجملة بعد صلة الموصول هو خبر المبتدأ, and anything that completes the meaning of the sentence بعد صلة الموصول, immediately after, that comes immediately after the connector to the relative pronoun, which is صلة الموصول, هو خبر المبتدأ. It's going to be referred to as what? خبر المبتدأ. مثل, for instance, for example, الذي, which is the اسم موصول, نام في فراش الرسول. This نام في فراش الرسول is the صلة الموصول. علي, so Ali is the what? Is the khabarul mubtada, like they have mentioned in the rule here. الذي اسم موصول مبتدا ونام في فراش الرسول صلة الموصول وعلي خبر المبتدا. So Ali خبر المبتدا. So here we move. نموذجان للإعراب. Sample of how we are going to be explaining sentences like this. If you are told to do i'rab, yani an explanation to sentence related to what we have explained here. So this is a sample for us to use. We call it namudajan lil i'rab. Two samples for us to use as our i'rab examples. التي ساعدت الرسول بمالها خديجة. التي اسم موصول مبتدأ مبني. Whenever we say التي, what we refer to is going to be اسم موصول مبتدأ مبني. ساعدت الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم بمالها. This is the جملة صلة الموصول. So this is going to be the sentence of the connector to the relative pronoun. خديجة. خديجة is خبر المبتدأ مرفوع بضمة. So which is what we have explained earlier. So alladani, here also we have alladani anfaqa malahuma. Alladani anfaqa malahuma litajhiz jaysh al-muslimin. So alladani here is going to be the ism mawsul anfaqa malahuma litajhiz jaysh al-muslimin. This is the silatul mawsul, sahabiyan, khabarul mubtada. Alladani ismu mawsul muthbatun mabniyun. So it's mabniyun. أنفق مالهما لتجهيز جيش المسلمين. جملة صلة الموصول صحابيان خبر المبتدأ مرفوع بالألف لأنه مثنى. This is how we are going to be saying this. مرفوع بالألف لأنه مثنى. It's taken رفع with this alif because it is what? Because it is dual. Anything that is dual is going to be taken رفع with the what? With that alif that turns it to dual. Now we have al-walad. So to turn the walad to dual is going to be the boy. Is going two boys. We have al waladani. Al waladani. So what is making us know that this waladan is dual is the alif that is there, and it's going to be representing the rafu. So this is where we are going to stop. Inshallah, we continue from here in our next lesson. We ask Allah to perfect our ways and forgive us our shortcomings. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم.